Good evening and welcome to our March 5th, 2025 Board of Douglas County Commissioners 5:30 business meeting. Paper copies of the agenda are available for those here in person, and a full packet is available on our website. Reviewing our agenda, first we'll consider our consent agenda. There are 4 items on that agenda. After our consent agenda, we'll have general public comment. We welcome general public comment for addressing issues not on today's agenda, but otherwise related to county business. Given our limited time and the need to have an orderly and efficient meeting, we apply certain rules regarding public comments. We'll do our best to enforce these rules consistently and without regard to the point of view expressed by the speaker. These are the rules. 1, each speaker will be limited to a total of 3 minutes of speaking time. However, we'll accept public comment of any length in writing. 2, individual speakers may not donate time to other speakers. All comments must be addressed topics within the jurisdiction of the County Commission. And 4, we reserve the right to mute or remove any speaker whose comments are threatening, aggressively hostile, or belligerent. Campaigning for public office during public comment period is not allowed. Please give your full name and address for our meeting minutes and address your comments to the Commission. Please also know that the comments received by the Commission during our meetings do not necessarily represent the views of Douglas County government, but we value your input. We don't usually respond to general public comments on the spot, but if you leave your contact information, county staff will try and get specific questions answered. After our public comment period, we would typically move to our regular agenda. There is nothing on the regular agenda for this evening. So then we will, that's it. There's nothing on our regular agenda. We have some miscellaneous items. Lastly, there's a recording of the meeting that will be available on the county's YouTube page and website. Sorry about that, Commissioners. I got a little tongue-tied there. All right, we'll start with the consent agenda. Is there any commissioner who'd like to pull an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none. Anyone from the public? Anyone online, Sarah? Okay. Commissioners, I take a motion on the consent agenda.
Commissioner Reed, I move to approve consent agenda items 1.1 through 1.4.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Before I call for a vote, I see Pam is here. I just want to say thank you, Pam, for all your work on this. This is a big part of the funding for our Department of Corrections stuff, so thank you for your work. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. We'll move on to general public comment. Would anybody like to provide general public comment here at the courthouse? Come on up. That microphone, you'll need to first sign in. There's a sign-in sheet there to your left. And then make sure you hit the button to provide your public comment. Yep.
All right. My name is Eric B. Hyde. I live at zip code 66044. Live at the Polar Lofts. I'm running for Lawrence City Commission. I'm not going to campaign for that, like your rules state. There's a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. I was kind of wanting some help on one of them. The second one I just wanted to talk about. The first thing is in 10 days, it will be a whole entire year since I registered for Lawrence City Commission. And the Lawrence Journal World has been actively omitted me from their articles. They claim to be a fair news source. They're not. There's many other ways that they do not do fair news reporting in the community. It's pretty obvious that they're very favoritism. They use a favoritistic approach in their news reporting. And I was wondering if there's something you can do. There's a lot of people in this county that I'm sure would appreciate a more fair news source. I've tried repeatedly to get through to Chad Lawhorn, the editor at the paper, and the guy who writes articles about the city commission. They just ignore me. And anyway, that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. So I'd appreciate help on that. The second thing I wanted to talk about is I saw in the paper recently that Bert Nash wants help with more funding, and I think that's okay. I want to just mention that last summer, the chief operating officer of Bert Nash, Stephen O'Neill, apologized to me for violating my religious rights because I do believe in God, and also for neglecting my traumatic brain injury, federally protected rights. They wanted to label me a madman. And the chief medical director at Bert Nash, Dr. Dodson, called me a racist. And yeah, they committed me in 2021 while I was running for city commission. So he apologized to me for that. He did not apologize to me in writing. So I think there needs to be some accountability measures with Bert Nash. And it's kind of like the movie Batman Begins with the Scarecrow, who's a psychiatrist, and he's just secretly kind of a villain. And that's a lot of people at Bert Nash are like that. I know there's a lot of good people at Bert Nash, but I just kind of I want some more accountability. And yeah, I've been through a lot in this town. Shannon knows I have a traumatic brain injury since I was 8 years old.
Eric.
There's slander, and I'll stop talking now. Thank you.
Anyone else? Public comment? Sarah, is anyone online? Okay. We'll close public comment. We don't have any regular agenda items, so we'll move to appointments. Commissioners, Sarah's memo, we had Fire District number 2 for reappointment. Are we ready to do that one? Deborah McTaggart.
Fire District 2 would be Commissioner Anderson.
This is a reappointment. This person's currently serving and is eligible for reappointment and would like to be reappointed. We are kind of trying to rush on this one because they don't have a quorum right now.
Does anybody want more time for this reappointment, or are we ready to go ahead?
I am comfortable appointing Deborah.
Okay. Is that the motion there?
Yes,
Okay.
To Fire District 2.
Fire District 2.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of reappointing Deborah McTaggart to the Fire District 2 Palmyra Board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. We also had a number of TRC advisory board members who have indicated that they're interested in another term. I don't know if we want some more time with these or we're ready to move ahead.
Commissioners, I do want to note that these individuals served a 1-year term, but if we reappoint them, they will serve a 3-year term. And I think I had that wrong in my communication with you.
And there are also two additional openings. Is that right,
Yes.
Sarah?
Yeah, so there were originally, were 6 folks whose terms were up. 4 of them have elected to be reappointed and 2 have not. So we'll be in the process of reaching out and trying to find additional members to serve on the TRC Advisory Board.
And Sarah, you've been in communication with those that are interested in continuing to serve?
Yes, yes.
I don't have any concerns with the 4 that we have listed here. But if we'd like more time, we would like to wait until we have some of those other openings filled, that's another option. Would commissioners like to move forward?
I would think we go ahead and reappoint the 4 and then get the other 2 when they show up.
Make a motion to appoint, and I'm going to do them all together. Is that okay?
Yep.
Bonnie Lowe, Kelly McCauley, Amber Roden, and Jerry Vaughn to the TRC Advisory Board for a 3-year term, and thank them for their service for the 1-year term they've filled.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Passes 5-0. Planning Commission, I'd like to just check in with Mr. Munch before we reappoint there. I'd just like to check in with him. if we can hold off on that one. And then Nick Humphrey, did I say that last name correctly? Is eligible for reappointment and he's interested. Do we want to move ahead with that or would we like a little more time?
I'm comfortable with Nick Pumphrey.
Are you making a motion?
Yes, as soon as I find. I move to reappoint Nick Pumphrey to the Douglas County Heritage Council.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. And just for all those that are out listening, we have a vacancy in the architect spot for the Heritage Conservation Council. So as we're out there talking to folks, you might think about who might be good for that. I think that covers our appointments, doesn't it, Sarah?
Yes, and the Heritage Conservation Council is also going to be seeking some potential folks to fill that vacancy in the architect spot. So they'll hopefully bring us a recommendation. If you all don't, or if you find someone, please just encourage them to go to our website. We have an information form on our website and where we talk about our openings and where folks can express their interest.
Okay. I think that's all the appointments unless commissioners have something else. Okay, we'll move on to our miscellaneous items and we typically start with Sarah's memo.
Thanks, commissioners. My updated memo is attached. Just wanted to remind everyone, the county appraiser is going to be holding 2 informational sessions coming up on Monday, March 24th and Monday, March 31st. So if folks are interested in learning more about the appraisal process or finding out what goes into all that work, I encourage folks to attend. And then we have been, I have spoken to the city manager in Eudora and we have a joint city county meeting with them. It's be our first that I'm aware of where we've met with the Eudora City Council. So that'll be April 14th at 5:30 at Eudora City Hall. So if you all could mark your calendars, and then in advance of that, I'll visit with the city manager and we'll work on an agenda. But I think they want to keep it pretty informal and just have some information sharing, get to know each other, talk about shared issues. You've got an updated little legislative policy report attached, as well as some the minutes from the Senior Resource Center board meeting. Next week, you have a work session on the Self-Help Center. So that will be next week. And commissioners, that's all I've got.
Thank you. Any questions for Sarah? Sarah, how long do we think that Eudora meeting will go? Is it planned for an hour or longer?
I think it'll be an hour.
Okay.
I think they meet at 7, so I think they'll want a little time in between. So,
Great. Thank you. Commissioners, attached to the miscellaneous item was a letter, and I want to thank Commissioner Reed for working with me on that. Her ideas were really helpful and really wonderful there. You want to make a little space to discuss that. We probably will, once we get some feedback here, we'll sort of huddle up one more time and make sure we've got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted, but wanted to make some space here for any discussion on that letter, making sure the points that we wanted included were included, or things that we didn't want included that got included.
I wondered if it isn't an opportunity to talk about some of the farm impacts. Douglas County is still a highly agricultural county, and as is the state as a whole. I know farm income overall is shaky with potential of tariffs. We've been through that before, 8 years ago, but also the number of conservation contracts. I don't know how many of those are going to be salvaged, but those are farmers who have been guaranteed federal money for a project. They put their own money out for that project and they're worried they're not going to get reimbursed. So that's one, if it feels appropriate and fits in the letter, I don't want to get too long, is one to consider. And the other would be, it might have been mentioned around the KU research, cancer research, KU Innovation Park. I know at least Jerry Moran, Senator Moran has been really supportive of the work there, and some of that comes into jeopardy with the uncertainties.
Thank you, Commissioner Willie. Any other comments, feedback? Commissioner Willie, would you be willing to maybe write a little paragraph around the farming impacts? I will be honest, you probably know more about that than I do.
Your inbox isn't as full of that as mine is.
Well, maybe. So if you had some language that you wanted to put in there, I would welcome that.
Okay, thank you. I will put that together.
And I think we can add, Commissioner Reed, something about KU research in there, KU Innovation Park. I think we're close on that we can just add one more on there. That'd be good. Anything else, commissioners, on that letter? Okay.
This may be more, you can take it or leave it. Yeah, the final paragraph, shared commonality in the oath to serve, a democratic country. But that oath specifically is to the Constitution of the United States. And I think that spells out that balance of power that was alluded to or talked about specifically earlier in the letter. That's just a thought if that makes it more clear or not.
So going back to the Constitution in the last paragraph, is that what you're saying? Okay. Great. If you have other thoughts on that, if you could communicate them with Sarah, we'd really like to get this done and sent off next week. So, but we wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to look at it before we finalized it and got it out. Anything
Very
else?
appreciative of the work of the two of you on that letter. So thank you.
Yes, I was just going to say thank you. I think it's very well written. I appreciate the empathy that actually comes through in the language that you both used. I think it conveys, you convey a lot in the letter. I mean, you really talk about how our elected officials really came to the table over the last couple of years, how they used their skill sets, how they used their background, and you put forth action. You request that they come back to the table and that they do their due diligence to stand up for our community, and that they not only just stand up for Haskell, but they stand up for everyone else that has been impacted by the sweeping actions that this administration has chosen to take, whether they have realized their actions or not. And oftentimes, those that make business decisions do not realize their actions. And so I truly appreciate the choices that you both have made with the words you have chosen. You have made an impact with the word choice, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. Anything else? If not, we are adjourned. Oh, did I forget something?
We have one, yeah.
Oh.
We have one more miscellaneous item.
Sorry. We're back in session.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that.
Commissioners, we were just made aware that we have a vacancy in the township trustee position for Palmyra Township. So I'll be working with Commissioner Anderson to make sure we let folks know that we have the trustee resigned, and so that we'll be looking for folks to fill that position. So Commissioner Anderson and I will be working with staff to find out more find some folks that would be interested in helping out Palmyra Township. And then that Anderson will take the lead on that vetting process and then it will come back to the commission for a full vote.
I might just bring up one other topic. 5:30 on Friday, the Haskell Group is having another general meeting at the auditorium at Haskell University to try and bring the general public up to date on where things stand with the termination situation out there. So the general public's invited 5:30 Friday at the Haskell Auditorium.
Thank you.
And I will just mention, if anyone is listening from the Palmyra Township, if you are interested in submitting an application for the trustee position, feel free to email me at eanderson@dgcoks.gov. Thank you.
Okay. We are now adjourned.